So it dawned on me today that I got hired into a six-figure remote job because I'm lazy. And before you scroll away, let me be crystal clear on what lazy means and what I do. And how I even came to this realization. So a colleague of mine was like freaking out because a project just had been put on our plate. And I was like, well, this is what I plan on doing. And they were like, wait, how did you do that so quickly? And here's the thing about work. Once you do something long enough, you start realizing patterns. I do think you should keep learning in your job, but for the most part, there are patterns in the things that are done. So you can pull those patterns and you can have those as templates, and then you can navigate those to your benefit as you see fit. So when I say I'm lazy in the sense of Beyonce's lazy. And Beyonce said she's lazy. Beyonce said when she's not on tour, sis is just trying to chill, or when she's not, getting ready for tour. And it's the same sense of I do not want to do busy work. I do not want to do fluff work just because. I am not the worker who is going to put meetings on your calendar just so it looks like I'm super busy. If I don't need to talk to you for 30 minutes, we're not going to talk for 30 minutes. Like, girl, put the 15-minute chat on, send me a Slack, send me a Loom. Like, I do not want to sit on the Zoom with you for 30 minutes for no reason. I strongly feel that way about a lot of things. And I think corporate is all about like for example, I was working on this project and this person got added and right away they're like creating Slack messages and pulling people in and doing all this stuff. And one of the people they pulled in messaged me like, yo, is everything okay? Like, why is this person pulling everybody in like this? And I was like, they just got added and I think it's important for them to, look busy. And they kept doing it. And it was just kind of like, all right, sis, if this is how like you are able to show your value, by all means do that. But no, I'm not about to have four different Slack messages, two new meetings, literally got on a meeting just to stare at each other's faces. And I was just like, why are we here? And I also think like at some point it's just disrespectful. Like, I understand that you want to maybe go sit on somebody's performance review and say, oh my gosh, like all the meetings that I initiated. But if I was your manager and you told me you initiated all these meetings and there was no substance to those meetings, I would call you inefficient. So in essence, I believe I got hired for the six-figure remote job and a lot of the jobs I've ever had because I'm lazy. I love to do things, but I hate wasting time. And especially with AI helping us be partners, there's so many different ways that you can utilize AI to help you. But also, even without AI, there are so many different systems that you can use to maximize your time. For example, I just posted this Substack on how do you use Gmail to schedule, excuse me, to schedule your emails. How do you what's the word, save templates on Gmail. So if you know you're emailing the same type of thing or the same person all the time, then just save the template and click send when you're ready. Why waste all the brain power of always coming up with something new? And I think part of why it may be so jarring when so many very successful people call themselves lazy, and I still got a ways to go, but a lot of people call themselves lazy, and people kind of like balk at that is because people think success is all about grinding. It's about working late. It's about pushing harder than everyone else. But I found out that that's the fastest way to burnout, not necessarily success. That's the fastest way to resentment. And if you're burnt out, you're resentful, you're defensive, how can you then be creative enough to now come up with a thing that is going to make your work fun, is going to make your work more innovative, and it's actually going to push you ahead? So instead of leaning into that stance, I will call what I do, or I will call out laziness, so-called laziness, as the way to go because it turns out to be a strategy. So this video is about getting paid more for doing less and how you can apply the same approach to your career, your side hustle, your business starting today. So I just want to go back and redefine lazy because to me, being lazy doesn't mean being irresponsible. It means asking a better question. Is there a smarter way to do this? What tools are available for me to do this? So for me, lazy means automating the things that drain you, delegating the things that don't need you, and eliminating the stuff that doesn't move the needle. And I think what I'm learning, or what I learned recently too, is that part of being lazy and that delegation is being crystal clear on what your strengths are. So if I know what is it, Gay Hendricks would call zone of genius, then I know I'm best in just in a strategic place. I am best in change management. I am best in these specific places. So that's where I'm going to put my time and my energy and carve out time for that. If I'm being asked to do anything outside of that, that I have no expertise in, or I don't personally want to grow in, then I'm going to delegate it to the person who has expertise. Can you call that being lazy? Sure. Can you call that being strategic and delegating accurately? Yes. And does that look better for you in the long run? Yeah, because it shows that you're using your resources and you're asking for help when needed. And I think that is something that is going to be more and more helpful, especially even as we use AI, because AI has all information. What AI cannot always do, yes, we have agentic AI, but AI can't always execute on the same level an expert can. So if you're able to identify your expertise, identify other people's expertise, and delegate well, I think you're good. So I think a lot of people are stuck in a loop of busyness, right? Responding to every Slack message, over designing every deck, manually scheduling every meeting. And I'm finding ways to do it faster. And the people who seem to matter are okay with what I'm putting out. I'm actually getting praise for it, right? So when we think about Slack messages or Teams, G Chat, whatever you're using, what needs your attention? What is, are you, if is you not responding, if you don't respond to a message, does that stop work? If the answer is yes, then please respond. If the answer is someone might not get an answer right away, but you will answer by the end of day, then go on. But to stop your work every 10 minutes just to go respond to Slack, you're actually stopping your flow and your deep work, which is actually which will in the long run hurt you, not the other person who got what they needed to do what they had to do. So let's get into more specifics. Another thing that someone brought up to me recently was, oh, how do you have these dynamic PowerPoints and how do you do them so quickly? Because it will take me hours to do that. I'm going to use Gamma. I'm going to spend a lot of my time writing the content of my slide deck, make sure that it makes sense, it's logical, I'm teaching what I need to teach. But the designing of the slide deck, no, I'm going to take that and put that in Gamma because Gamma will get that to me in literally 2 minutes. So making slide decks doesn't have to be an hour, like a time consuming thing, especially if, like someone like me, making a slide deck is not my zone of genius. It's actually very, very stressful to me. So if I can use an app like Gamma, great. Same thing for using something like Calendly, Clockwise, and now even Gmail has a calendar thing. So you can just send a link and people can figure out the scheduling and the whole puzzle of calendars, nightmare. Have someone else do it. And then obviously, like just using any old like AI tools, whether it's Claude for writing, ChatGPT for ideating, Gemini for getting, current results, Perplexity for research. Use the tools available to you for success. And I guess Gamma technically is also an AI. And I think the part that most people miss isn't, you know, about these hacks is like you don't need to be a programmer, you don't need to be a Tim Ferriss 4 hour work week type of person. It's literally using what's available to you and shifting how you think incrementally. And you can start with one task that you hate doing. Can I eliminate it? Can I automate it? Can I delegate it? Then stack those wins over time. Once you get that system down packed, you get comfortable asking for help, you get comfortable identifying what's in your zone of genius, you're on a roll. The highest paid people I've met don't work the hardest. They solve problems the fastest with the least amount of friction. They've built mental models. They've detached themselves from like looking busy all the time. And I actually want to talk about this, and I may do it in tomorrow's video about this concept of like bullshit jobs. And I don't have the book with me right now, but I believe it's David. Gerber. Am I confusing with Gerber Baby probably? Who wrote that book, Bullshit Jobs? And it just talks about the different types of jobs that people have that may not use your most brain power, but do drain you and what that means. And I think I would like to talk about that in the age of AI. What does that mean updated for 2026? So watch out for that. I honestly think that the more I advance in my career, the more I get paid and the more flexibility I have, I'm getting that flexibility and that pay because I do lean into laziness. Because I think when laziness is done right, it's actually just efficiency with taste, with judgments, with class. And as AI becomes more and more of a tool that people use, what people will be judged on and paid for is judgment, is taste, strategy over sweat, outcome over optics. Because who wants to just waste time? So if this sounds like the kind of success that you want and you want to start rethinking the way you work, definitely subscribe to this channel. That's what we talk about. If you want that work with you specifically, that's the work I do with clients. So reach out to me. I would love to help you out. All right. See you tomorrow.